What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages? I am, of course, the Renegade of Wrestling, J.J. Williams, here to bring you another installment of my show, Renegade of Wrestling. Happy Friday to everybody. And today's a special episode because it is the first time I have video questions. And I got video questions from two different people. One from frequent contributor WWE anime fans, and one from a gentleman whose username on Facebook is HCDrulz, D-R-U-L-Z 0001, or Matt Adams. So I'm really looking forward to those. We're going to get to those closer to the end of the show. First things first, Pairing78. Hey JJ, what do you think Triple H and Stephanie's WWE will be like when Vince retires? And do you think they will be on-screen characters like Vince was? Well, I think we're already starting to get an idea of what Triple H and Stephanie's WWE will be like between CM Punk's over a year run, between Rocky being back, between the Zeb Coulter character. And fellas, just to remember, it is a character. He's supposed to ruffle feathers. Will they be on-screen characters? Possibly Triple H. Stephanie hasn't really had a desire to be an on-screen character full-time since she was general manager. Ever since she started popping out Helmsley babies, she's been perfectly content with behind the scenes and the occasional in front of the camera appearance. But I think things are taking a positive turn for WWE television. One thing they really need to do is get rid of the 3-hour format, because 3 hours is just too long, especially when you factor in all the other hours of WWE programming on TV each week. But I think it'll continue to get just a little bit better, as time goes on, better and better. Detel Godzilla Star. What 10 former WWE mid-carders do you think can come back to help rejuvenate the WWE, form tag teams, and or guys who could become singles main eventers? Most of the names that I pulled from are guys that were future endeavored within the past, going to go ahead and say 5 years or so, 5 to 10 years, that I think that as long as they are still healthy, as long as they still are trained, been training and conditioned to be able to put on WWE caliber matches, I think they could add a lot to the mid-card tag teams and whatnot. Carlito, the Masterpiece, Chris Masters, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, the world's greatest tag team, Matt Hardy, Maven, John Morrison, Val Venus. And the last two are long shots, I know, but I think that even under a short-term, maybe a 1-year deal, could do a lot to add some diversity and some depth to the mid-card, and that's Lance Storm and William Regal. Lance Storm, if for no other reason, to help mentor some of these young guys, teach them some new things, round out their abilities that they already have. Because let's just face it, Lance Storm was a great wrestler. Not the most charismatic individual in the world, but he was a great wrestler. And the same with Regal. Regal had a little bit more charisma than Lance Storm did, but they were technical geniuses in the ring, and it's something that's seriously lacking in today's WWE environment, minus a couple of guys. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the video response questions.
Hello JJ, I'm Matt Adams. I've posted you a couple of questions on Facebook over the last couple of weeks or so. Just got a couple more questions as a video response, considering you're always asking for one. My first is this: if Money in the Bank returns at WrestleMania 29, who would you book to win it?
If Money in the Bank were to return at WrestleMania 29, who would I book to win it? I would probably book, at this stage, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, I think, has got great potential to go on to the main event. That's assuming, of course, that they don't do a Cody Goldust match at WrestleMania. He would be my pick for Money in the Bank.
Seems as though we're heading for CM Punk versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. How would you book the finish of that match, if all the rumours are to be believed?
The finish of Punk versus Undertaker? That's a touchy one, because now that his historic title run has been besmirched, if you will, by the fact that The Rock is the WWE Champion, Punk could benefit from ending the streak. I don't think he would, though. Undertaker will more than likely go over if that match does in fact happen. The guy that everyone is saying is going to be the one to end the streak is John Cena, like he needs it. So,
is the World Heavyweight Championship losing its prestige? Keep up the great work on the channel, love your videos, and hopefully you'll answer my questions. See you next time.
I definitely think the World Heavyweight Championship has lost its prestige. It's not losing it, it has lost it. We addressed this a little bit on the results show for Elimination Chamber. When you're a world champion and you're curtain jerking more pay-per-views than you're headlining, it's a damn shame. I mean, hell, the World Heavyweight Championship has been the curtain jerker of WrestleMania quite a bit in recent years, and more often than not, the Royal Rumble winner has challenged for that title. The Royal Rumble winner is supposed to be in the main event at WrestleMania. Not a main event match, not the curtain jerker, not a title match, the main event. So for any championship to not be the main event is a slap in the face of the legacy of the belt, in my opinion. And definitely for the World Heavyweight Championship, you know, it's lost its prestige, Matt, bottom line. Thank you for your video question, and now we're going to get to the second video question from WWE Anime Fans.
What do you think about fans that want to interfere in a match? No matter what type of match it is, a match. A wrestling match, mind you.
Wow. Fans that interfere in matches deserve, in my opinion, everything and anything that they get dealt. Fans need to know their role, which is behind the barricade, behind the guardrail, and if you're an indie promotion and you can't afford a barricade or a guardrail, it's in your fucking share. The only time it is ever okay for a fan to get involved in a match is if the wrestler brings the other wrestler over to the crowd and says, go ahead. And I've seen that a few times at indie shows. Usually, the babyface wrestler will have the heel wrestler's arms tied up behind him, and they'll allow the fans to get a chop in or something. I know Pinky has been able to do that on a couple occasions at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. You'll never see it in the big companies, though. You'll never see it in WWE, TNA. The closest you ever got to it in ECW is fans bring the weapons. But even then, once you brought the weapon, the wrestler took the weapon and used it. You weren't allowed to use it on the wrestler. I I understand that wrestling fans are passionate. Hell, I'm passionate about wrestling. We all know how passionate Pinky is. You've heard her diatribes about Dwayne. Wrestling fans are very passionate. They like who they like. They don't like who they don't like. More often than not, they sip the Kool-Aid of the promoter, and as soon as someone that they don't like goes babyface, and the promoter tells them to like him, they start liking him. I personally tend not to do that. Once I've found somebody that I like, more often than not, I stick with them until the end. There have been a couple of exceptions. I've turned my back on John Cena. I liked him in the beginning. I've turned my back on Jeff Hardy. I liked him in the beginning. And I'm slowly starting to turn my back on Randy Orton. But aside from those couple of exceptions in my 15 plus years as a wrestling fan, I've ridden it out with the people I like. But any fan that has the balls to get out of their chair, jump the barricade or guardrail, get inside the match, and interfere on any type of level deserves to be arrested and deserves the beatdown that the wrestlers give them. Hell, security, as far as I'm concerned, has got the right to beat them down as they escort them out the building. Yeah. Bad example here, Rodney King style that shit. The fan deserves it because they crossed the line. That's it for this edition of Renegade Wrestling. Thank you, Matt and WWE Anime fans, for sending in video responses. Now that we've seen it done, folks, if you want to be like them, send me video responses, and I will answer your questions on the show. It'll look like we're talking back and forth. I'm not positive if we're going to have anything up Saturday or Sunday yet. That still is up in the air. But I will be back here on Monday for another all-new episode of Renegade Wrestling. And then the week's shows will continue as normal. In the pink, we'll be back on Tuesday. Statboy Rants on Wednesday. I'll be back in the chair again a week from today on Friday. And Thursday, as always, is a crapshoot. Yesterday you got On the Road with the Lady Killer Ray Larkin. Next week you may get Chicks on Wrestling or another in the pink. Who knows? So until Monday, I'm the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams, and I'll see you next time right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel.